Time of year to go into the archives and have a look at the boys' predictions at the start of the season regarding the Premier League, and it looks good, doesn't it? For the likes of Shaka, Stevie and Don all predicting City would win the league. Jules, though, went all in on Chelsea and Romelu Lukaku not only being the top goal scorer but also player of the year as well. Don starts to fall apart a little bit when you take a look. He had Harry Kane as top goal scorer, Kevin De Bruyne as the player of the year. For Stevie, the big surprise, Liverpool down in fourth, United above them in third. He did have Salah, though, as top goal scorer. Shaka, meanwhile, has got Chelsea and United both finishing above Liverpool. Harry Kane to be the top goal scorer. Jules, I'm drawn to you because you're the most wrong, I suppose.
Yeah, I am. Thank you for reminding me. I still have faith. I still think that 6 points is okay for now. It can't get bigger than that. And as we mentioned before, I think we will know pretty quickly if this Chelsea team can win the title, because 2nd of Jan they are home to Liverpool, and then 15th of Jan they're away to City. So by mid-Jan we will know if they're too far behind the two monsters, or if they actually have crawled back a little bit maybe and are still very much in this title race. I still think that they've got an incredible squad when everybody's fit. They've been hit quite hard by injuries and COVID. But 6 months for now, it starts to be a bit big, but it's still okay. I still think for them to be able to come back if they win those games in Jan.
Why can't you say January? You're in a rush, Jules.
No, it's just that by the time they've played Liverpool and City, they could be 12 points behind.
15th of Jan, so. Mid-Jan. You can say January, it's all right. We're sophisticated here. We don't need to abbreviate for Don.
Is that how you determine if you say Jan, you're not sophisticated?
It's just to be punchy
for Don, so he knows what's going on.
It's a pretty low bar on this show,
you know, we mock Jules and his terrible predictions. However, like when Lukaku was signed, we all thought that was excellent, almost the missing piece of the Chelsea puzzle. Why has it not worked?
Because he's not played.
But even when
he's been out for 2 months. How about that?
But even when he has played, he hasn't set the world alight, has he?
He's scored enough goals, though.
Are you defending Romelu Lukaku now,
I am
Stevie?
defending Romelu Lukaku, yes. Well, I'm defending Jules.
Right.
Don't worry, Jules, I'll look after you. No, he's not played. When he played,
thank you, my friend.
He scored enough goals.
Right.
But, as I said, he played for 2 months. So, clearly, he's way off the pace.
Is it as simple as that, Jules?
Yeah, I think that has been an issue. Players missing. Kanté has missed a lot of games as well. You know, almost half of the games they've played so far this season, I think 14, and he's played 13 or 14, so exactly 50%. Lukaku as well, like Stevie said, which meant also that his integration into this team has been a bit more difficult because of that. And on top of that, you've got Chilwell, you've got players who've made mistakes. I think you've got Tuchel as well,
He's popular, Chilwell.
He's still looking for some answers. That you know he hasn't been able to find. It's a bit of a tough time now. They've still play well and have big XG, outplay the opposition in XGs, but can't win games. Draw at home against Burnley, Everton, United. It's not good enough. Even in the Champions League, the draw at Zenit was not good enough. So you could see there's something not clicking right now, but I think they're good enough to come back from it for sure.
Why were you so confident in Manchester United?
I wouldn't say I was that confident about Man United. I would say that I didn't know what I was going to get from Liverpool's back line. That was my worry. They were so bad last year. I mean, they lost, what did they lose, like 4 games and 6 at home or something? I mean, that's insane considering they hadn't gotten beaten at home for about 18 months. So my worry was how Liverpool would defend, how fit would Van Dijk be, you know, Gomez. Another serious injury. At that time, we hadn't signed Konate, but again, a young player. So there was a lot of question marks over Liverpool's back line. And the fact that Manchester United finished second and then went and signed Ronaldo, you couldn't really turn around and say, well, Man United aren't going to be in the top 4. So that was why I was more concerned about Liverpool than I was about Man United.
I think that's the thing. I think United addressed a lot, or seemed to address a lot of their issues in the transfer window. The big complaint around Manchester United, it was about leadership and real direction in that dressing room, and you bring Ronaldo in to make some of those players, talented players, kind of recognise their responsibilities. The other complaint around Manchester United was defensively. You bring in Rafael Varane. Okay, but he's had injuries, but you can't foresee that at the time. And I thought those two signings directly addressed the two biggest issues for Manchester United. But what proved to be their downfall so far was their manager, and not giving that team enough of an identity. So you address the issues on the park, but then without real direction, they now found themselves trailing and playing catch-up by a long way.
Regular viewers will not be surprised that when we asked Don to put together his Premier League team of the season so far, there was a starring role for Declan Rice, and Mr. Gallagher from Crystal Palace is in there as well, Don.
Absolutely. Why not? Why wouldn't you get both of them in? I mean, I'll find it impossible for the boys to pick holes in this team. I mean, Ramsdale will be England's #1. Cancelo's the best left-back in the league. Diaz and Matip. I think Matip goes under the radar. People talk about Van Dijk, but I very rarely see Matip have a bad game. Trent at right back. Gallagher scores goals. Declan Rice is worth 100 million quid, and everyone will want him in the summer. Bernardo Silva's form has been sensational. Jota's come in, scored important goals. Salah's just Salah, ridiculous. And where would Man U be in the Premier League and the Champions League without Ronaldo? So that 11, I think it's extremely strong.
I'm sorry, every time you put up that screen, all I can see is Don on the side.
Yeah.
Looking nothing like Don.
I know.
And I'm trying to focus on the 11, but there's this guy with crazy hair on the side.
Hair?
Yes.
I had hair.
Good goodness me. What happened? What were you doing there? What are you thinking of?
What, with the hair?
I'm trying. No, you just you look weird, Don. You just look weird.
He was a nipper.
He looks weird, though.
He's still trying to figure himself out.
He's trying to figure himself out.
Sort yourself out. Sort your younger self out.
I can tell you the game that picture was taken. I don't know if Stevie played in it, but it was an FA Cup tie against Bolton Wanderers away, and it was live on TV. And Bolton switched the undersoil heating off, which made it an ice rink, and the game went ahead. We were 2-0 down at half time, got it back to 2-2, and Graham Souness went ballistic at half time, throwing teacups, smashing teapots, everything at half time. He went crazy. That's where that picture's taken from.
I did play in the game. I broke my rib in the game.
Did you?
Aye.
Oh.
No.
It's all right now.
It's just a little bit tight still.
Don, I understand the Matip under the radar, but you can't have him ahead of Van Dijk.
Only on this season, not in terms of who's a better player overall. Van Dijk's one of the best in the world, but that 11 that I've picked is going off, I think, form this season. So I think form. I think Joel Matip. I rarely see him have a bad game. I just think he's a solid 8.5/9 every single game, and his form was brilliant. The only one I was close to putting in for him was Rudiger. I was tossing up Rudiger and Matip, and Matip, and Rudiger's been brilliant with Chelsea. But I think Matip's just nudges it, and Diaz is Diaz. He's one of the most solid, commandable, consistent centre-backs in the league. But from then on, you've got to have Conor Gallagher, surely. You've got to have Declan Rice.
Jules, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Don today at the Premier League, and I agree with him completely. The only one is Matip for me. I understand the under the radar thing. I think Laporte has been better this season. I think Thiago Silva has been better this season, and even Rudiger, to a certain extent, has been better this season as well. Not even talking about Van Dijk and the Liverpool partnership in itself. So, but apart from that, the other 10, no problems at all. I completely agree with Don.
There you go.
Rudiger, yes. The other two. Laporte, really? Who was the other one?
Oh, you haven't used your centre-backs in?
I'm with Don. I'm arguing between Matip and Rudiger. Nobody else.
No Van Dijk?
Thiago Silva was the other one that Jules threw.
Right. Van Dijk's not played enough games, I don't believe, to be put in a mid-season team of the year. So I'm with Don. I think 100% it's between Matip and Rudiger.
What about...
And actually, I would probably have gone with Rudiger. But I understand, if we're talking about what somebody has done for the team, Matip's been incredible for Liverpool. This is a guy who I actually thought up until this season we'd signed Bambi.
Right.
Because he looks so... he just looks unsure on his feet.
What version have you seen?
He looks unsure on it. I always thought... To me, he always looked as though he was unsure.
Just away, because I don't want to dwell on this too much. Arteta, manager of the year?
No, Guardiola.
Yeah?
Yeah. Guardiola. Oh, they were bottom of the league at one time, Arsenal.
They were?
Aye.
Then Arteta.
Whose fault was that then?
I think you can make the argument that Vieira's been better than Arteta.
Oh, your mate?
That'd be a good argument.
I'd still say manager of the year so far. I'm with Steve, Pep Guardiola, but Arteta's been good, but Vieira's been better.
Jules?
I like the shout of Arteta. Yeah, of course, manager of the season. That's fine with me, completely. Well done, Don.
This feels like one of Shaq's power rankings thing. How come Vieira's been a better manager than Arteta, who's in fourth?
Because of Palace's struggles, the team that he took over. Palace was among the favourites to go down at the start of the season.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
Arteta, by the way. Who came up with Arteta?
Don Hutchinson. It's his team.
That fun-looking guy on the side of the full screen.
Listen,
Stevie, the reason I went for him, the reason I went for him, because a month in, Mikel Arteta was the laughingstock. Remember, I can't remember what he'd done. Craig ripped him a little bit. We were all a little bit. At the start of the season, do you remember he was searching for things? He was banging on about XGs and logarithms and what his team could do, and they were losing games. They were second bottom, and he was having a mare. And we were going, this guy's going to get the sack. And all of a sudden, he's dragged them into fourth.
Yeah, but Don, you don't be manager of the year so far if you haven't beaten anybody. You've got one win against the You got one win against the Tottenham side, who were absolutely garbage. The rest of the time, you're just winning games that a supposed big team is supposed to win. With your Burnleys and Norwich and all these guys.
Do you not see the direction that they're going in a little bit? I know they struggle against the big sides. I totally get that. But from 2-3 games in, going down in the bottom three, struggling, going to get sacked, then all of a sudden, amazing. Got to give him a little bit of credit.
I don't think I'd go as far as amazing, by the way. Well, amazing? I don't think so. I don't think so.
Don goes quite high when he says fourth. Action
Fourth.
Continues then. Before Jan starts, we've got Premier League matches on Boxing Day. We'll be back tomorrow to reflect on those games. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.